Good noon, sir. Good noon, everybody. This is CA NK Jain from Bihar branch. I, on behalf of Bihar branch of ICI and on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee ICI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast on elevating your speaking skills. I also welcome today's resource person CA Abhijji and event enablers from the Bihar branch of ICI and other present here. Now I request our branch chairman C. Hirenji Bhandari to introduce our eminent speaker Shri Abhijit ji. Hand over to Hirenji sir.
Welcome, sir. I, C. Hiren Bhandari, Chairman, got privilege to introduce today's esteemed speaker. Abhijit Sanjari is a CA with over 35 years of post-qualification experience and 25 years of speaking at professional forum. He is currently the president of Professional Speaker Association of India Mumbai chapter. Abhijit sir has learned the art of communication from Australia and Netherlands. Welcome, sir. Now I would like to call you for your deliberation.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to speak on the topic of elevating your communication skills. And communication, I would say the greatest skill on the planet. And we all communicate at various points of time. And even silence at times is communication. Even a pause is a communication. A presentation is a communication. So you have written communication, you have oral communication, you have a communication via an email, you have a communication via SMSs. So there'll be various types of communication and we have to master it. At a very basic level, communication refers to the ability to convey information and ideas across various platforms. So it could be the physical platform or it would be the virtual platform. Now here we are on the virtual platform. Physical platform, the techniques would be different because you're live and the connect which is there with who is the listener would be different because of the personal physical presence. So finally, we'll have to master this ability that we convey the information in the manner that it is understood in the right sense. And what is the purpose of us communicating? The purpose of communication is always to invoke the necessary desired action from the other side. So let's say I'm speaking on this topic. So the purpose is not just to inform. The purpose is maybe at times to inspire. The purpose is to take the necessary action so that whoever is listening also maybe gets inspired or maybe follows the hacks or maybe the techniques which we are discussing to be a much better communicator. So if you have clarity on the purpose for which you are communicating, then it becomes easy to communicate in a more effective and efficient manner. So clarity is key. And clarity on what? What you are communicating. And for that, why are you communicating? What is the intent? What is the purpose to communicate? To whom are you communicating? So here I know my audience is chartered accountants. This is more or less of a one-way monologue. There is a particular age group of chartered accountants. So the audience is of a high senior intellect. If I was speaking to school students, the content would have been different. If I would have been speaking to college students, the content would have been different. If I'm speaking to just newly qualified chartered accountants, the content would be different. And if it's a wide range of audience, which is from a newly qualified chartered accountant to a experienced chartered accountant to a very senior chartered accountant, the content would have to be rightly balanced so as to take care of all the interests. So you need to be very clear why you are communicating, to whom you are communicating, what you are communicating, when are you communicating. The communication just at the start of a session, let's say you are a speaker for the session which is for a day, the energy of the audience in the first session would be different. The energy of the audience in the second session just before lunch would be different. So we are just speaking at the pre-lunch session. So somewhere around 1:30, 1:35, the audience would be restless and fidgety for lunch. So you need to bear that in mind and repurpose the content accordingly. The audience at a post-lunch session would be different, having the delicious lunch which is maybe served by the institute. It would put most of us, including the speakers, to sleep. So not just the audience, the speaker also has to be mindful on what he eats and what he speaks and how he keeps the audience awake. And the last session, people are in a hurry to go home because they may have a particular train timing, bus timing, or whatever transport timing to reach somewhere for some other appointment. So the mindfulness has to be there on when are you speaking. And finally, how are you speaking? So at times there might be situations where you may assume and it would be a complete mess. Are you speaking in the right language? So an audience, I was speaking to directors of cooperative banks and I assumed and I spoke in English and I was given the feedback that I should have spoken in Marathi. So one needs to be very clear even how he communicates. If the mic facility is there, the mic facility is not working properly, then whether your voice is reaching to the audience. So at what pace you speak, at what volume you speak, at what tone you speak, with what energy you speak, with what enthusiasm you speak, and whether you can manage these levels throughout the speech is something you need to be very clear on, you need to be very conscious on, and you need to be absolutely on top of that. Now, the speaker's curse is just because you are given a mic or just because you are given a platform to speak, and just because you have an audience who is willing to hear because they have no choice, because you have been given a particular time to speak, then you'll go on and on and on. And at times you don't even stop. So need to know when to start and when to stop. So as is happening in the current cricket scenario, you should know when to retire. Not when people ask you, why are you not retiring? Instead of that, why have you retired? So end the speech on time so the audience says, yes, maybe we could have wanted a bit more. Or maybe you get a repeat invite then. And for every speaker, wherever he is spoken, he doesn't get a repeat invite, then it's a point for reflection that something would have gone wrong. So be crisp, be concise, be comprehensive, be confident, be clear, and be courteous also. So have all the C's in mind. And then the P's. Prepare, practice, and speak with passion. If you are not enjoying what you are speaking, why would the audience enjoy what you are saying? So first is, be very clear. If you were sitting in the audience, would you have loved to listen to the voice who is speaking? If you would, then only you would think the audience can. So prepare, practice, be patient. You won't improve overnight. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Rome was also not built in a day. And if I can, I say anybody can. So I still vividly remember when I was in school, I was to take part in some competition, and I didn't know where I was to speak. And I was given some speech which I rehearsed. I literally by hearted that. It was a 5-minute speech. And I was to deliver it in a reformatory. And that reformatory was all of convicts below 18 years old. And when I went on the stage to speak, all the participants were just dancing and howling and shouting at the top of their voice. So what I started was just not audible at all. And they just wouldn't stop, though the organizers asked them to stop, requested them. They just continued with their howling, booing, shouting. I took a pause waiting for them to stop, but they didn't. And being my first speech ever as a young student, I just forgot what I was supposed to say. And then finally, I just said thank you. And I just walked off the stage. And this memory was such an utter disaster that I never ever attempted to go anywhere close to the stage ever again. Fortunately or unfortunately, as would count it, in college, my friends forced me to stand for the college elections. And as a part of the protocol, you have to give a speech in front of the class. And again, this was another nervous moment for me. Again, a short 1-minute speech, which I by hearted. And when you go in front of the audience and you give an eye contact for the second time, the first time was a disaster. This was the first attempt after that disaster, maybe 7-8 years later. And I spoke so fast that I may have broken the speed record for speed speaking. And I didn't even know what I spoke. So forget me, the audience understanding, even I didn't understand what I spoke. So I just spoke something, a 1-minute speech which should have been over in 30 seconds. And the only thing I remember is I greeted them with good afternoon, which was the time of the day, and thank you at the end. And I had my own set of cronies who were clapping, which covered up for all the failures. But heart of heart, I knew that again I was a disaster. And I knew that I would never make anything out of the speaking business. That's not me. But I knew the importance of speaking, especially of speaking in public forums. And as a chartered accountant, you have to give presentations, you have to speak at audit committees, you have to speak at your firm where you train your articles, your young professionals. So I joined a speaking institute. And no matter how hard they tried, I just couldn't improve. So it was as bad as would happen. And I was always reading my speeches aloud. And when you read your speech aloud, it just takes away half the impact. So for the first almost 3 decades of my existence, these experiences left me with no confidence and no hope, faith, belief that I would be on stage. Maybe I would never have dreamt that I would have been stage. I would have been stage for more than, maybe I would have lost time or count of how many number I would have been on stage. I think in this year, not 10 days have passed, but this is the 5th time I'm speaking on a public forum. So for the past 25 years, I think once you start, you just need the first step and just keep on persevering it with practice, with patience, keep on rehearsing. Repetition is the mother of all skills. Get feedbacks. You'll only improve. And when you speak on any professional topic, you would obviously do your research. You will study, because anybody from the audience can ask you anything and you'll need to be prepared. So there are only stupid speakers. There are always great audiences. So my first foray into professional speaking was when I was doing an audit of a bank. And I happened to be at the bank's staff training center. And when the budget was being announced, and every year after the budget, in those times, you and the late Sir Nani Palkhiwala speaking on the budget at Brabourne Stadium, and huge audiences used to go to attend, and I used to be one of them and used to be in complete awe of the way he simplistically used to dissect the budget and speak with such wit and humor, as well as a deep subject matter expertise. And this was the budget session going on. And I just casually asked the principal of the staff training center whether they also have any speaker to come and speak on the budget. So he said no. But then he casually asked me whether you can speak on the budget. I said, I don't know how to speak, but I know what the budget is. And if you ask me anything on the budget, I can tell you. And I can dissect this budget. But if you ask me to speak on this, I'm not a speaker. And this was me 25 years ago. So I said, don't mind. If you know, you share your experiences. And he said, I'm booking you as our speaker. And he announced a date in the next week. And that began my speaking journey. I had a presentation made to support me. And I completed my talk more on information, more on knowledge, more on some insights from my experience. And I did a lot of research to see that the content was very qualitative. And though I never had a great speaking skill at that time, I think it was a okay start, nothing bad. And I said, yes, maybe I can speak, if not great. I'm an okay speaker. Fortunately, the destiny was that I should be a speaker. So opportunities came my way in the way of some speakers backing out of their commitment last minute and actually requesting and forcing me to take their slot. Obviously, in subjects which I knew, technical subjects. And I, maybe with hesitation, but and some fear, some stress, some nervousness, some anxiety, some tension, just spoke. And I became better and better as I continued speaking. And once you start, obviously there's no stopping back. So if I can, I always say anyone can. So don't hesitate to take the first step. Keep on sharpening your axe, your saw. Don't lose any opportunity, any forum to grab the mic and speak. Keep on posting your thought leadership content on social media, especially LinkedIn. And you'll get better and better every passing day. And then once you mastered that art, you'll obviously falter. We all faltered when we were driving the cycle for the first time in our life. All of us would have fallen down, but we got up. We sat back on the cycle again. And maybe after some time, we just didn't know how we were driving that, even at times, even without our hands on the steering. The same way with a car. Initially, you might be hunting around for the accelerator or the brake, maybe the clutch in those times. But once you have mastered it, you just don't know how you go in the flow, how the brake, clutch, gear just comes in automatically. And you're almost on an autopilot mode. So just start. Just take the first step. Speak with purpose, speak with intent. And when you speak or when you communicate, there has to be an objective. What is it that you want to achieve? What is the desired action that you want the other person to do? And once you're clear, your message is very clear, and that message resonates with the audience. It solves his problems, it solves his pain points. It's not gyan. It's something which will help him be useful, be relevant, and will make a difference to his daily routine. So always be credible, be competent, be trustworthy, and be a person of value and values. So you can persuade, you can negotiate, you can motivate, you can inspire, you can inform, you can direct, you can enrich, you can enlighten, you can transform, you can transcend. So you can leave an impact, you can move ahead. And knowing where you are in your communication journey is very important. Are you a beginner who is just starting out? Obviously, you have to start. Each one of us was a beginner. तो सास भी जैसे कभी बहू थी, as each one of us has started at one point of the time or another. I was also a beginner once and a very nervous beginner. And as you keep on practicing, preparing, rehearsing, repeating, you keep on developing. And as you keep on practicing even more, you get in proximity with better speakers, and that proximity improves you, elevates you, you develop. So from a beginner to a developing, you become a developed, refined speaker. And then when you polish your art and craft to perfection, you become something of a maestro, or maybe a celebrity speaker, or a legendary speaker, or an impactful speaker who's sought after. So know where you are in the speaking journey, how you will elevate yourself, and we'll brainstorm more on what hacks we should implement to go much ahead in our speaking journey. And there are enough stats to state that speaking is really important, communication is really important, and it's never a bad time to start it. The great time is always now. It's not just a good time, it's a great time to start right now. And various surveys by various people, 80% of the work failures have happened due to poor communication. If there was better communication, there would have been a 50% increase in employee engagement, 50% lesser attrition. Employee and human relationships, they get strengthened only if the communication between the people is really good. A successful leader has to be a great communicator. People who are great communicators are more likely to achieve their goals and results and targets and then success. Better communication gives better possibility and probability of achieving your targets, especially in sales. A great communicator will be a great service relationship manager, and enhanced communication enhances customer satisfaction. Teachers, trainers, mentors, coaches, and we are all, as chartered accountants, teachers, mentors, coaches, trainers to our fellow peers or juniors in some way or the other, and we need to be absolutely top class communicators to achieve our goals, what we set when we impart our learnings. And for a student, if he's a poor communicator, it reduces his possibility or probability of achieving success. So all of us know we don't need the statistics to prove that communication is important. Not just important, it's urgent that we take steps to elevate our communication right now. So, better perception, better respect, better recognition, more credibility. You become a bigger brand. The personal branding, which we all call, is all due to enhanced communication on whatever mediums you would be. So enhance success and enhance possibility and probability of we achieving our goals, results, targets, mission. So all in all, a win-win situation. And we need to just start, practice, keep on practicing, stay persistent till we be a developed speaker at least. So when we speak, what is it that the listener recalls? And it's not just what he recalls, it's the recall with clarity. In the same manner in which you've spoken, in the same manner he understands it. So the message for communication to be effective, the key element is the message. The message has to be powerful. The message has to be simple. The message has to resonate. The message has to touch the audience. 37% they say is the impact of a powerful message. And if the message is realistic, if the message is achievable, if the message is relevant, if the message is doable, workable, implementable, believable, you add another 21%. If it's delivered with style, if it's delivered with eloquence, if it's delivered with a charm, it's delivered with a grace, the impact will be even more. And then you speak with passion. You firmly believe in what you are saying. And that passion will reflect in the energy and the enthusiasm at which you're speaking. And that will rub off on the audience for the desired action, for the purpose for which you're speaking. And that has almost covered 70% of the effectiveness. Then the connect with the heart. It's not a B2B, it's not a C2C, it's not a B2C, it's a H2H. There's always a heart to heart and a human to human connect when you speak. And if you have brought in the right emotions, and maybe if these emotions are when you honestly, truthfully, originally authentically and maybe even with vulnerability communicated, they resonate even more. Add a bit of humor, and you have a lethal combo. Then the compassion with the audience, the empathy. It's not what you want to say, it's what they want to hear. It's all about them, it's never about you. So when you speak, it's always about the listener, it's not about the speaker. A speech will only be effective if it has a great listener or great audiences. So finally, who gives you the standing ovation? The audience. And you always dream. Your projection is that you'll always speak and you'll get a hands down standing ovation. Everybody in the room will stand up and keep on clapping for maybe 5 minutes or even more and not even stop. That's the dream goal, the projection. But then do you have the potential in you to sway the audience, move the audience so that they give you the standing ovation? So your projection would be one. Do you have the potential? And obviously everybody would love to have that projection. And everybody is abundance. Everybody has the potential to reach that projection. But then do we prepare? Do we practice? Are we willing to do the hard work? To do all the things right and prepare? And we may have prepared on that day. We need to perform without any stress, any nervousness, any anxiety. You may have batted very well at the nets, but you might be a bundle of nerves while facing the first ball. You might have studied a lot, but you might blank out during the exams. So while preparation is important, performance is what will matter. And you may think you have performed, which all of us feel we gave a very great exam. We should get n number of marks. But when they finally come, you might be in for a rude surprise. The same way you might have performed, which you think is your best. But is it good enough for the audience? And it depends on the audience perception. So the perception trumps reality most of the times. So what is the perception you are matching with your performance, which is based on your practice and which has got to do with a dream? And if the dream is there, then you'll up your potential so that you practice and then perform and then drive the perfection. So all these five will have to be in a sync if you have to be a great speaker. And then the stories. People remember stories. We love stories. The message resonates more if it's backed by a story. Have a emotional story. Have a story which is realistic. Have a story which is humorous. have stories because they are what will spice up and add the flavor to your content. And who doesn't love stories? And stories have not to be told, stories have to be shown. So as you speak or as you narrate a story, over time you master the art that you do what is called as story showing. The audience feels they are transported to that moment or that time when the actual incidents which is taking place. And while you are in an emotional story, you might get in the emotion to create the impact, but need to pause and come out of that emotion quickly and move on. So that's an art which you need to master. When you start out, you don't even know how to stand, how firmly you should stand, where should your hands be, what should be the position. If you start moving your hands, you'd forget what you're speaking on. Initially, when we speak, we use a lot of filler words like but, be, maybe, because. And when you pointed this and when you try to correct those filler words, you would basically end up then affecting your gestures, your hand movements, and then the eye contact. The eye contact has to be with the entire audience, it has to scan across. Obviously, the techniques when you're speaking virtually will be different. When you're speaking virtually with a huge audience when they are not on camera will be different. But then you got to be accustomed to each wicket. You may have a crumbling spinner's wicket on day 5. You may have a green top on day 1. You may have a seeming swing wicket in an overcast English condition. If you are a master Bradman, you will have to master all wickets, all audiences, all mediums, all situations, all timings. And it's only about practice, practice, practice. It's all about rehearsals, rehearsals, rehearsals. Then only you'll make it. Obviously, nothing comes easy. Every success story has its share of hard work, which became smart work. We all started one day with nothing. Nobody was born a great orator. Maybe somebody may have had a natural flair and his journey would have been easier. But for all of us, the lesser mortals, it has to be all about practice till perfection. And it's not that we don't have our share of failures. We've all had our share of failures, all share of roadblocks, all share of mistakes, all share of we could have done that better. But every opportunity that we go either on stage or grab the mic or speak is an opportunity for us to practice what is the theory which is needed and then use it to do much better. And then we need to reflect and introspect either what went wrong or what went right, which we could replicate, and what we should do even better in the future. Think always about the audience. It's always about them, what is in it for them. It's not what is in it for me. Always think win win and think of their wins first. If they win, obviously you would have won. And be an authentic giver. Share whatever is your experience and expertise. Just be authentic. Just be natural. Even be vulnerable at times. The audience appreciates that. And we all make mistakes. Where is human to forgive divine? Doesn't mean that we keep on making silly mistakes. Obviously, there's some level of professionalism which is needed. You just can't go unprepared because you are always being scrutinized as a professional all the time. So maybe if you're just not ready, don't even go, don't even start. There is a rule called the 40-70 rule. And that rule says that if whatever are the skills needed for a particular activity, if you have not got 40% of those skills, don't do that activity. And if you have got 70% or more skills, don't wait till you get to a higher level of skills. Start. You can always improve. And you can always achieve perfection along the journey. The experience also matters. The sooner you start, the better you will become. So start, just do it. Take the plunge, take the first step. All of us have the speaker's anxiety, the speaker's stress, the speaker's tension, the speaker's nervousness, the speaker's worry. And some of that amount is always necessary to push you towards practice, not being casual, not taking things for granted, not leaving your guard down at any point of time. Breathe, pause, recollect your breath, recollect your energy. Your energy and enthusiasm level is what matters. It has to be at the same level at all points of time. You just can't be dull. If you're dull and down, why would the recipient of the message respect you and take the desired action? Be not just physically fit, be even mentally fit. And exercise for the body as well as for the brain is important. The simple D's, the discipline, the determination, the dedication will all be needed. Never let the D's be down at any point of time. And then the structure, the system, practiced with sincerity so that it's simple. Keeping it straight and simple. And if you back this with integrity, with honesty, with trust and keep on at it, I think you've succeeded in your communication sphere. So note this, to follow this at all points of time, every time, any time, and at all times. And communication is a lot about emotions. Our emotional quotient has to be very high. We need to be aware of not just our emotions, but we need to be aware of even the emotions of the listener or the audience. We need to have a great appearance. It's not just wearing the best of the clothes, it's being dignified, being decently dressed, being dressed appropriately for the occasion. You just can't come in a meeting in shorts or anything which is inappropriate. Your personality has to be charming, courteous, gracious, kind, empathetic, so that there is a magnetic charm when you enter in. There is an aura around you. You are the person in the room. You exude that magic. And that may be in your voice, that may be in your style, that may be due to your presence. And you may have the persona, you may have the gravitas, but still stay humble. Stay grounded. Believe in your abilities, your capabilities, have hope, faith, be optimistic, and be genuine. Be practical, be realistic. If we focus, and focus is always an effort of the energy going in the right direction. If energy goes and flows, your focus will be there. We'll have our nerves, but it's a matter of time we know how to master it. And horses for courses, there's no one size shoe which fits all. We'll need to tailor make or customize our content, our style, our persona to suit the varying audience's tastes and their behavior. So, understanding the audience is key. Who is it that you're speaking? Have you done some background research on them so that you know their mindset, you know what moves them, what appeals to them, and then you're making the pitch, the presentation, and the appeal in the right manner. And be at your task. Persevere, persevere. If something does not work, try something else. If that does not work, try something else. You may have a plan A, but if plan A is not succeeding well, there should be a plan B, plan D, plan E, with a plan C after plan B. But you should plan. A thing well begun is always half done. So prepare, practice, and your message in the communication. The deep, profound, impactful message that should add value. It should be valuable for you to be valued and respected. So always be a person of value who's adding value through his values. And there may be times when we may not be in the best of our health or the mood, but we still must carry on. The show must always go on. And all situations need to be made as special situations, and we need to make and think of special ways to make our audience feel special at all times. Surround yourself with passionate, supporting thought leaders whose wisdom rubs on you. They say you are the sum of 5 people whom you spend most of your time with. So surround yourself with top quality thought leadership. Love what you do. Do that with passion. And the Ikigai framework says that if you do something which you are passionate about, which you are really great about, and for which there is a real demand in the world, then you have made it in life. Obviously, as I said earlier, no quick fixes, no free lunches. You need to hang in there, you need to persevere, you need to be patient, relentlessness, the grit, the tenacity will all have to be there. And you'll have to work on your mind first for the hope, faith, optimism, and belief. And with your change, growth, positive, abundant mindset, use that to change the listeners or the audience's imagination and move him towards realization. Move him towards action. Always do what's important. Own it, know it, and share it. And share it wholeheartedly. Keep learning the basics. Make the foundation very strong. Your fundamentals have to be clearly in place. And as you keep on defining and refining these fundamentals, you will learn, you will grow, and you will evolve with experience into an expert. So the journey will move, a never ending journey, an ongoing journey, a continuous journey towards perfection. You just can't be perfect because there'll always be a higher level, but you'll always keep up moving up the trend. You will become what you think of. If your mind can conceive anything, it can easily achieve it. So focus on your thoughts. Your thoughts are important because thoughts shape behavior. The behavior shapes habits, and the habits shape the desired action, and the desired action shapes the results. And then again, the results give that confidence, give that belief. They again shape the thoughts. So it's a vicious success circle. Problems will always be there. But a great professional will always thrive on problems. I've always got speaking opportunities earlier as the standby speaker, as the last minute speaker. And I have never said no to those opportunities, because if I would not have said yes, maybe I would not have got an opportunity to speak in the normal course. And because the organizers found me good and I could speak good, even as the last minute backup. So I was a night watchman who scored a century, and that's why I was promoted into batting up the order. So that's how you became a frontline speaker. And then if you really think of what you did, then you'll obviously improve. And as you improve, you'll keep on getting the repeat invites. So how do we as speakers reflect back on what we spoke on? So one is we get the recording and we listen to the recording in 3 types. So this is, let's say, the speech which I'm making for about 110 minutes. Say it's 12 to 2. I'll stop at around 150 or so. So I get the recording of the speech. And the first way I listen to the speech is at the time when I'm about to sleep. I just put on my audio and then just listen to the audio without the video. The voice. How powerful is the voice? How impactful is the voice? What is the pace? What is the tone? What is the volume? What is the pitch? And the second way I look at it is I mute the audio and just look at my body language. So how do I stand? How tall? How confident? How courteous? How graceful? What are my hand movements? Am I fidgeting? And then I listen to the video with the audio. So I get a 3-dimensional view of how I spoke with my voice, with my body language, and with my overall impact with my voice and my body gestures. And when there are problems, there are more problems, that's where you will get the opportunity. God give me the problems because I know how to solve them. If there were no problems, there'll be no opportunities. The problems are the opportunities for you. The problem that a speaker has backed out last minute is the problem for the organizer. For you, it's the opportunity. And you always need to be prepared. Success can come knocking anytime with the opportunity. And do not resist. You say yes as you're prepared for this occasion, this moment. We all have seen in test matches, somebody gets injured and somebody gets the chance and he just grabs it with both hands and performs and then just cements his place for the long term. So be prepared. And failure is not the end of the road. Obviously, you need to plan, practice that you don't fail. But in the rare occasion that you have not succeeded, you have always been wiser by learning through the mistakes made. To strive to be a man of value with your values and keep on doing it. Because finally you will move towards perfection. And as I said, the projection or the dream, it all starts with the big, hairy, audacious goal. Dreams are not easy, but then they're definitely hard, but definitely worth it. And dreams are possible to achieve if you believe that you can. And if it's possible, then it is necessary. And if it's necessary, then it is worth it. And if it is worth it, it has to be done come what may. Heavens may fall, mountains may fall, the earth may fall, but you have to do it and only rest after it's done. So just do it. Obviously, there'll be a lot of sacrifices. Do it. We've got speaking opportunities across the country. And it's not always that we have been given air tickets. We've traveled by cars, we've traveled by trains. At times, the reservations are not there. The arrangements are not done properly. But yes, that's the way. So even when a cricketer starts and he goes through his local matches, he travels through unreserved trains so that eventually when he succeeds, he travels in the first class. So sacrifices will have to be done, and it's pride of service before personal gain. So pride yourself, because that's what will make you tough. That's what will shape you into the person you will evolve into being. Goal setting is important, because without goals, there will be no direction. You will just keep on going. And you will not know where you land. You need a compass. The compass will tell you. Your Google Maps will tell you the shortest way of reaching a destination, but for that, you need to know where you are. So, especially in your communication journey, you may want to become a great communicator, but where are you? Are you a beginner? And you need to develop to reach that refined level and then to go to the maestro level. And dream big, dream great, and take help. Don't be shy of taking help. I always say you need a mentor, an accountability partner, to help you in your journey. Learn from experts, learn from their experience, learn from their expertise. Leverage your network. Your network is your net worth. And your attitude is your choice. Have your attitude of gratitude and be abundant. We all have the potential. We can all do it. We can all make it. We just need to persevere. We just need to believe that we can do it. And if we believe we can, we really can. Have the faith. It's not fake it till you make it. Faith in yourself till you actually make it. Just hang on. Success may be just one block away. And have a positive attitude. It said when Michael Faraday was inventing the bulb, he failed 3,000 times. He didn't lose hope. He always used to say, with every setback, that he's tried a thing which didn't work and he'll be trying the next one which will work. And eventually it worked and it will work. So keep pushing at it. Keep at it. And there's no use grumbling, whining, blaming. Have an attitude of gratitude for what you have and what you can be. Because all of us have the potential. It's how hard we work is what separates others who have achieved success from those who have not. And always look for those who are higher up on the ladder, who have seen it, who have done it, and look at them for inspiration. And if you can have one of these guys as your mentor or your accountability partner, then you just had the time of your life. Always try to improve, be an incremental improved version of you every day. Even if you improve by 1% every day on a compounding basis, you would have improved exponentially. Keep on raising the bar. Be addicted to success, but be addicted with humility. At times, the competition is more within yourself than from somebody else. So compete to be a better version of you every day. The competition is against you yesterday, that you become better today than what you were yesterday. And control your ego. Ego is what will come in the way of being a student, being a learner, staying curious. Because there always there's a lot to learn. And the more you will learn that there is still a lot more to learn and learn. And in today's world, the VUCA Bani world, the volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible world as we live in, where it's not just the survival of the fittest, but the survival of the fitter among the fittest. But it's not that you need to be a jack of all, you need to be a jack of some skills. You need to be a king or queen of a few of the skills from the some skills. And you need to be an emperor or an empress of maybe 2 or 3 skills among the few from the some skills which you are a master of. So the riches are in the niches, and you need to be an expert in your domain of expertise and own it, show it, maybe flaunt it, but with humility and not with ego. And true greatness will always lie in your humility. Your ability to recognize the fact that you are always a lifelong learner, always a work in process and in progress. So stay hungry, stay foolish. If you're hungry and you're foolish, then only you'll make the efforts to learn. And then only you will learn. And then only you will sustain, because change is the only constant. You need to be creative, you need to think critically, you need to be innovative, you need to be technically savvy. With ChatGPT, anybody can make content at the speed of thought. Can you deliver it with fluency, with style, with eloquence? That will come only if you have deep knowledge on that subject. For me to speak on communication, it's not that I'm the greatest speaker on the planet. But I've been speaking enough. I've started from scratch. I've learned from the mistakes, and I have the experience which I can share with others, that they don't make the same mistakes and they learn from my experiences. So if it took me maybe 25 years to reach a particular stage from zero, maybe you could reach that stage in 5 years or even earlier. So leverage your network. What we unfortunately do is not leveraging our network really well enough. If you really play to your full potential, you all will realize that we've not even been a fraction of the potential that we truly possess, and that we can truly make it into real life practice. So be at it. Go at it. And just do it. As a professional and of our code of ethics, apart from integrity, competency, objectivity, confidentiality, there's one more trait of professional behavior. And on and off the stage, you're being scrutinized. if you are rude, ill-mannered, using foul language, I think the respect will be diminished. And though it's not on the occasion of your speech, somewhere that perception or somewhere that trait will carry in other spheres of life. So speak with compassion, speak with love, speak with empathy. Feel for the other person. And they are the listeners. You become what you become only because of the audience's recognition. So respect that. And we are stepping in to communicate. Your duty is to capture the soul to whom you are speaking. Make a true deep connect. Be on the same wavelength. Speak on a heart to heart basis. And you add humor to that and involve whoever is the audience. Maybe it's one to one or one to many or one to too many. I think the involvement has to be there. Obviously, in certain settings, the involvement can't be there. It can be a monologue, but then you need to respect the situation and then use your content, your manner of delivery, your gestures within the time frame to be as effective as you can. And what you are saying, if you were the listener, would you have been satisfied with what was being told? What would be the marks you would give yourself? Would you pass your own test as a quality speaker? And we are the most strictest critics of ourselves. And we all take ourselves very seriously, which ideally at certain times you should not. But as they say, does this story of yours touch your own heart first? If it touches your heart, then it will come with the right emotion, with the right passion, and land very rightly to make the right transformation. So think deep about that. What's the story you want to say? Failure is a detour and not a dead end. Bounce forward. It's not that bounce back, bounce forward. Take feedbacks. Feedbacks are the breakfast for champions. And feedbacks need not be sugar cubes. They need to be hard hitting at times to make you really improve. And some years back, I was in a seminar and I was invited to speak impromptu on a topic which was never mine. I was not prepared and I didn't want to speak, but I was forced to speak. And I got a feedback from one participant, the boss, and though it was just a 5-minute speech, I got a feedback that you wasted my time because you were not prepared. If you were not prepared, you should not have spoken. Now, though I was forced into speaking and I knew I was not prepared, and though I had given the caveat at the start, I think your guard should never be down. You're being scrutinized all the time. And the audience's time is extremely important. If you don't respect time, especially their time, they will never respect you. So as I said, start on time, end on time. And who else to give you advice about where you stand? Who else to give you the realistic of the most realistic reality check than your spouse? And nobody knows you better and maybe likes and loves you more and who wants to succeed you more and you'll be more honest than your wife, maybe your mother if you're not married. So take their advices and take them seriously. And use that advice to be better so that you craft a message and your speech should have a message that should linger, last, and maybe transform the listener for the necessary action. And always use the eye contact. So whether you're facing this side of the audience, the center audience, the left hand side, the right hand side, whether you're coming in straight in the center where you are on the left hand side, you lean forward, you come back, you lean in, how you use the stage position, or maybe when you're speaking one on one, how close you are, how much you lean in, how much you lean back. When you're sitting while talking, how much you come forward, how much you sit behind, what is the body language showing or gesturing. I think you need to be mindful of all of that. How do you sit? It has to be respectful. You got to respect the other person. Your movements and your gestures should be all natural. So, what do the great speakers do? And how can you be a superstar communicator? What are the tactics? Firstly, be passionate on what you do. Need to be a subject matter expert. You can't be a jack of all. Have deep research and expertise on what you speak, on what you talk, on what you know, and how deep and well you know. And if there's a message, when you walk the talk, be a living example of the message. And when you're speaking, you speak so naturally and authentically with that compassion and empathy that it truly connects with the audience. I need to be very clear on what your message is, what you want to accomplish, how you want to say it, what you want to say, why you want to say it, what time you are landing that knockout punch. Maybe recapping would be a great idea. And that message should be something which the listener should remember even a year or maybe more. The time it has been delivered. It should stand the test of its time. And for that, you also need to be an active listener. When you're speaking, except for rare occasions, maybe not like this one, you will always get cues from the audience. And you can always take those cues to immediately improvise what you're speaking, how you're speaking, with what volume, with what tone, with what pace, with what pitch, with what punches. So you constantly reinvent the wheel alongside the journey. So be aware of all these cues. And what you speak, what you present, that must accomplish the desired change. It should see the desired action. And define that. Be very clear on what action or what purpose you want. And then frame your talk around that action or that purpose. Do you have a vision? What you want to be, or what your audience should be? And once that vision is there, do you have a mission? And how should the audience feel? How should they react? How should they experience? What should be their satisfaction levels? What should they know? And that should be unique, that should be different. Personally, professionally, whatever you're speaking has to be relevant and impact them. And the takeaway should be long term. And what is it that they would remember? The one sentence, the one word, one key point, one key central message, and just create the right emotions around it so that it lands truly in the manner you want it to land, so that it takes the desired action. And whether it's the words, whether it's the themes, whether it's the context, whether it's the videos, whether it's the stories, whether it's the repetition, do all strategically so that it gets remembered and stands the test of time. What are your power moves? So before the day or the event, say the interview, say your presentation or your speech, how do you overcome the last minute blues? How do you prime yourself? What is your body state at that time? So the great boxers, they do a lot of shadow boxing. Tony Robbins, he uses a trampoline and he jumps so that he has all the energy that he needs to prime himself into that state of mind. Do you have a strong burning desire that you will achieve what you want to do? So the passion is there. Is it there? And think from the heart also. Use your heart power. Find better ways and exciting goals to keep yourself inspired and motivated. And obviously use journaling. It's a good technique. If there are some good stories, some good humorous anecdotes, some powerful quotes, note it down. And in life, you get what you want when you know what you want. In life, you get what you want when you know what you want. And when you know what you want, and when you know what you want really well enough, and it is waiting to happen. If you know what you want really well enough, then it's waiting to happen. And some may call it a miracle, while for some it may just be the new normal. So be precise in your asks of yourself. Always talk the truth. Always have the belief. Sincerity, honesty, humility, and character will always trump and connect. And your reputation precedes you. Who you are as a person will speak more louder than the words you say. You'll have to have lived that image and walked the walk and walked the talk. And we need inspiring stories. We need champions. We need people to tell what they can do to fight all the odds. All of us are living in challenge troubled times, and we need beacons of hope. We need people with their stories who can inspire others to believe that they all can. So be that hope or faith for people. And you're crafting your talk or your speech or what you're saying. People don't remember more than three things. So just the three things that they should remember. And illustrate those things. Maybe one with a humor story, one with an emotional heart story, and one maybe with a visual aid, maybe an audio or a video. And use quizzes, use exercises, use puzzles, use activities, involve and or take the attention of everyone in the room, involve participation to drive home those points of yours. And then maybe recap those three things which were said so they remain fixated in the audience minds and they don't easily forget it long after the session is over or long after your communication is over. Need to have a very strong opening to make the connection, because if you don't make the right entry, you've just lost the audience to the mobile. And your greatest challenge is from the cell phone. So need a power-packed start. What they say, a magnetic hook or a tagline, a new idea, a refreshing way of framing a question maybe at the start, which has to be creative, innovative, relevant, recent, short and simple so that it's memorable. And then your material. Are you speaking from the heart? Are you speaking from the flow? It's not that if you have a presentation to give you a structure, that you are reading aloud from the presentation. Because if you are having too much information on the slides and the audience is looking at the slides, then they've lost you with your body language and your voice. Research deep so that that content is of top class quality and it resonates with the audience in the right manner. And it's suitable and appropriate for the occasion and the topic on which you're speaking. And when you are on your off stage, do the research, do the homework to move in the direction of your expertise. And that search for expertise should be in each and every moment of your life. Your performance is what matters, and it truly matters. And a lot of great communicators, they simulate their talk, they prepare it, they have a dummy audience and they speak in front of them. The even greater speakers have speech directors who would direct how they are speaking. And they would have practiced it so many times that it looks so flawless and as natural as they are speaking for the first time. But you can't see the hard work behind the scenes. For every perfect speech, there's a well practiced, numerous speeches behind. rehearse for real audiences, anticipate questions, anticipate problems. And what happens in the first 10 minutes and the last 5 minutes is what will truly matter. And if it's a short speech, then maybe the first minute and the last 30 seconds. So you need to make each moment count. Start on time, end on time. And great speakers like Brian Tracy, they spend as much as 300 research hours in various books, various readings, and various hours of reading for just some small 3 to 5 minutes of changes in their content. So they read to be inspired to get new ideas or be open for new thoughts of thinking. And they want to be unique, they want to be different, so that they show their versatility of the amazing skills they have in their repertoire, and they actually do it without bragging. And there is an intense focus in what they do at all times that they do. And that's what you emulate. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Just do it. Hope. But after that, hope work. Hope won't act all alone. And when you're thinking, always think with care and compassion for the listener. And that care should give you the slight fear which will cause you to practice so that you perform better. And being mentally fit and having the energy, the enthusiasm needs a lot of physical and mental exercise to keep in the same pace throughout the duration of the talk. And be excited, be happy at all times. Your improvement in yourself is an investment which has to be consistent and never ending. The closing thoughts. Where are you on your communication maturity curve? Start We all know of the audit quality maturity curve. We have our levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, based on questions where there are markings. So for good communication, you'll have various parameters. So those parameters say your voice, your content, your diction, your pronunciation, your ideas, your presentation, your packaging, your positioning. A good speech, and I use the acronym SPEECH, has to be simple and structured. The S. It has to be purposeful and passionate. The P. It has to be with energy and enthusiasm. The E. It has to be with emotions and empathy. The next E. It has to be crisp, clear, concise, comprehensive, and confidently delivered with content of a high quality, and the edge is the honest heart to heart connection that you will make with the audience. Keep a journal. As I said, what's worked for you, what's not worked for you, what you need to improve, so that you know the next time. It's all there in black and white, and what's there in black and white can easily be recalled, remembered, and acted upon. Get periodic quality feedbacks from your peers, from your seniors, from your juniors, and get honest, brutal feedbacks. And these feedbacks should not deter you, but should spur you to be much better the next time. Proximity to quality thought leadership is real power. So be in the company of people who motivate, who inspire, who transform, who transcend, who enrich, who enlighten, who have the wisdom, who have the insights. And it's only in their company that you'll flourish. So spend time with wise men. Spend time with men or women wiser than you. Emulate them. What's worked for them? Learn from them, as you did not go through the grind again. They have done the hard work. So what they did over 30 years, maybe you do it in a couple of years. So have a mentor, have a mastermind, have an accountability partner, have that mastermind, the group which pushes you, which eggs you on, which inspires you, which appreciates you, which respects you. And nothing comes easy. Everything can go wrong at all times, every time, anytime. So a risk is what can go wrong. And whenever there is a risk, you need to de-risk, and every risk can be de-risked so that you bloom, you compound, and you succeed personally and professionally. And I always say that our best is yet to come. And if I can, anyone can. So just start. Just stay put. Keep on learning. Keep on improving. It's just a matter of time. And we are all abundance. And we all have the Hanuman within, which we seriously don't know of our own potential. So awaken the Hanuman within. Thank you. As I said, I end 10 minutes before the allotted time. Respect time, and then only time will respect you. And no good time to start, no good time to improvise than now. Now is the moment, seize it. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit sir, for such an insightful and inspiring session on evaluating your speaking skills. Your words have truly left lasting impact, and I'm confident that everyone here has gained valuable knowledge and practical tips to enhance their speaking life abilities. Now, I would like to call CA Praveen Rathi, Secretary, Biawar Branch, for question answer session. Over to you, Praveen sir.
Sir, any question from audience side?
Sir, question are in chat box.
So apart from preparing well, doing a pre-work about knowing the audience really connects well and result in delivering the desired message and earn that confidence from the audience. Is this the right interpretation?
So practice and prepare well is fine, which is the pre-work. Knowing who's the audience, right? It has to connect well, and the message has to be delivered, the desired message. And it's not just earning confidence of the audience. That confidence has to translate into the desired action which is needed. So let's say if my purpose was to give you all the tools and techniques which are there, and you've learned from my experiences, then unless you use those techniques for your betterment, while I am prepared well, I know the audience, I have tried to connect to the best of my ability given the live proximity with the audience. So unless that message which is there that you start, and if I can, anyone can, it doesn't land with the audience to have that desired action for benefiting them, then I don't think you have achieved your purpose. So it's not just the confidence in the audience, it's invoking the desired action.
Yes.
To create the confidence for the desired action.
So second query is, I think communication is only complete if there is a proper reflection from the other side. So having a listening ear is really important for an effective dialogue. What's your view on the place?
So एक हाथ से ताली नहीं बजती है, takes two to tango. So while you need an even appreciative audience to basically land your message, the other part is also true that if your message is not invoking the response from the audience, then somewhere it's the time for you to introspect also. If somewhere the audience is not participating and you have lost the audience to the cell, that means there is something which you need to work upon to improve, to gain the audience attention throughout the duration of your speech. And you may not get everybody's attention, but if you have got the attention of the majority of the room, I think at least that should be done. If not, I straight say it's your fault, the speaker's fault.
I think there is no more question. Thank you very much, sir. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful webcast on elevating your speaking skills, organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee (ICI). On behalf of a Professional Skill Enrichment Committee (ICI), we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, C. Abhijit Sanjgiri, for his enlightening session. Sincere thanks to the event enabler from the Behavior branch of CIRC of the ICI who enabled the webcast throughout. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer, a Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, ICI. Our today's speaker, C. Abhijit Sanjgiri, and other stakeholders made the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us make this webcast a grand success. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.